and we are here to talk about women that have inspired me to become myself. I feel like my mom has always kind of been my rock. The first person I called when I got hurt this year was my mom. I'm like, can you fly here and cook me a meal and just spend time with me? And that is just the person that makes you feel.
Caitlin Clark just dropped something wild. And no, it's not another sponsorship or random post. This time, she's opening up in a way that's got the whole internet buzzing, and for totally different reasons. What she reveals in this new interview finally connects all the dots about what really went down this season. Stuff no one could figure out until now. Most people expected another basic interview, right? Wrong. What she says next flips everything upside down. It makes you rethink her entire rookie year. The pressure, the silent weeks off social media, the weird energy people kept noticing. But here's the part that's blowing everyone's mind, and barely anyone's talking about it. Throughout the interview, Caitlin drops tiny clues, little comments that sound innocent until you line them up. Once you do, it paints a totally different picture of what was going on behind the scenes in Indianapolis. This isn't just a sweet family moment. This is a woman hitting her breaking point, and the timing of it, crazy. We'll get to that in a second. But first, you gotta know what was really happening in her life when she made that emotional call. Because here's the wild truth nobody's saying out loud. Caitlin went from being the most approachable superstar in college hoops, always posting, always smiling, to basically disappearing for months. Her fans were desperate, flooding the comments, begging for a post, a tweet, anything. Everyone thought she was just tired, or maybe her management told her to chill online. But what she just confessed, it's way deeper than burnout. Something much heavier was going on, and it's finally all coming out now. She wasn't stepping away from her fans, she was trying to feel safe. That word safe place she uses, that's not random talk. That's the voice of someone who felt exposed, shaken, and totally out of control in a way she never did back at Iowa. And here's what's wild. She connects that feeling of safety to cooking. That's not just a hobby. That's a coping move, a way to hold on to something that feels like home when everything else is spinning.
Mom has always kind of been my rock. The first person I called when I got hurt this year was my mom. I'm like, can you fly here and cook me a meal and just spend time with me? And that is just the person that makes you feel safe. And I probably took that for granted as a kid, but my mom always made the best meals. I think it's important to take time for yourself. And I think also when I do have free time, one of my escapes is cooking a healthy meal for myself, whether that's, breakfast, lunch, or dinner. I really do enjoy that. Just putting on music and making a home cooked meal. And I think that's because it feels like a safe place for myself, because that's kind of what I grew up on.
When someone says they're trying to recreate the comfort of their childhood while chasing a pro career, that screams pressure. It shows how heavy things really got for her, how much she was trying to protect her peace in the middle of the chaos. Now listen close to how she brings up Lisa Luter, because this is where things get real. She doesn't just call her a great coach or throw some basic compliments. She talks about cancer survivors, perspective, and remembering what basketball means to people beyond the scoreboard. That's deep. That's not PR talk. That's reflection. You can feel it. That moment when someone realizes they've lost a piece of what made them love the game in the first place. Back in Iowa, she had constant reminders that basketball wasn't just about stats or fame. Lisa made sure the team knew they were part of something that touched real lives. Then she hits Indiana, and suddenly it's all numbers, workouts, muscle goals, systems that don't even fit her natural flow. It's like the fever stripped away everything that made her her. And here's the twist. She never says this outright. She doesn't have to. You can hear it in her tone, the warmth when she talks about Iowa versus the flatness when she mentions her rookie season. It says everything without a single word being spoken. Right after she talked about cancer survivors and perspective, Caitlin jumped straight into her Lilly partnership. And that's no coincidence. That's not slick editing or PR work. That's her mind-linking meaning with money. It's her way of showing that business for her still has to matter. And here's where everyone's getting Caitlin Clark totally wrong. People keep saying she's chasing the bag, like she's forgotten her roots or sold out. But that's not what's happening at all. What she's really showing is that she's out here trying to make every deal count. She wants partnerships that mean something, not just ones that look good on paper. The world around her suddenly feels cold and transactional, but she's still searching for that genuine connection she used to have.
Now that there, out the gate, her mama. See, we never knew that. We never knew when Caitlin Clark got hurt, she got on the phone, Mom, I need you to come up here and spend some time with me, cook for me, just help me out. Shocking. See, Caitlin, it's stuff like this that's going to keep the fans engaged. I love this. I don't know if her agent was behind this, but this is just a different light of Caitlin Clark. This is something we never seen of her. I'm loving this content so far. Let's finish watching it, bro. I like this.
Back at Iowa, every move had purpose. Every game was for the community. Every win was celebrated by people who'd been riding for that team forever. Then she gets drafted, and boom, it all changes. It's not about heart anymore. It's about jersey sales, engagement numbers, follower counts, and whether she's tweeting enough to keep the hype alive. The pressure turned real fast. That's why the Lily deal hits different. It's local, it's homegrown, it's Indianapolis. It connects back to something real and human, something that reminds her of what basketball used to feel like. She's not just signing with another big brand. She's rebuilding that sense of belonging she lost when she left Iowa. And here's where everything finally clicks. She's not just talking about meeting a hero. She's talking about someone who showed up, really showed up to support her. You can hear it, that emotion in her words, that need for connection. That's the voice of someone who's been feeling left behind. Now think about her rookie year. Where were the WNBA legends showing up for her? Where were the vets putting an arm around her, guiding her through the fire? Instead, she got rough treatment on the court, constant criticism for bringing too much attention, and endless blame for things way beyond her control, from ticket sales to TV ratings. She wasn't chasing fame, she was just trying to survive in a league that didn't know how to handle her spotlight. Maya Moore was her childhood hero, the definition of what basketball should be about. Maya stood for teamwork, unity, and playing for something bigger than yourself, not just chasing stats and highlight clips. And here's the heartbreaking part. Caitlin's been trying to live by that same code, but the system around her just won't let her breathe. The fever kept moving her off the ball, changing her role, tweaking her game until it barely looked like her anymore. They made her bulk up, shifting her body and mechanics until her shot didn't even feel natural. They boxed her into plays that forced her to be more selfish just to stay effective.
See, that there. Now, I did a video earlier today. You guys might not know this. I did a video earlier today speaking about Lisa Bluter. Lisa Bluter sat down with Sarah Spain, and that was the video I did before this one, and she shedded a bunch of stuff on Caitlin Clark that we just did not know. Stuff that I feel we needed to know, to kind of help strengthen up the fan base. We know we all have been critical of the Caitlin Clark era and the Caitlin Clark fans' hype, I should feel.
Everything that made her shine at Iowa, the crisp passes, the joy, that team-first spark, all of it got traded in for what they call professional growth. But it wasn't growth, it was loss. And when she talks about winners never quit, it's not just about Mia Hamm. It's her trying to tie her whole journey back to the roots of why she ever picked up a ball. She's linking her origin story to inspiration, gratitude, and purpose. The U.S. women's soccer team fired her up to chase her dreams, to grind until she made it. But here's the twist. She became exactly what they were to her. She turned into the one kids now look up to, the face on the posters, the name fans scream in packed arenas. She became the symbol of possibility for millions of young girls. And while that sounds like a dream, it nearly broke her apart. Nobody told her what it would feel like to be the one under the microscope, to have every missed shot analyzed on national TV, to be targeted by opponents just because she represents everything they want. The weight of being what Maya Moore and Mia Hamm once were to her, that's not just inspiring, that's suffocating. Especially when you're only 22 and still trying to figure out who you are beyond the jersey, beyond the noise, beyond the game. And then she drops that line, I don't think I would be here if it wasn't for them. But what does here even mean? Is it success? Is it survival? Or is it that quiet space where you start realizing how heavy the dream really is? Is here playing in sold-out arenas? Or is it being on the phone with your mom, begging her to fly out and cook for you because you just need to feel safe again? That's the real question. And this right here, this interview, it's not some polished PR stunt. It's Caitlin Clark reaching for something real, trying to reconnect with the reason she ever fell in love with basketball in the first place. Just look at what she chooses to talk about. She's not flexing her stats, her Rookie of the Year race, or throwing shade about Olympic drama. None of that. Instead, she's talking about her mom, her college coach, her childhood idols, and even the bedtime stories she read as a kid. That's not small talk. That's someone trying to remember who they were before the chaos started.
Lisa Bluter, dropping jewels. Let's get back to this.
More than anything, first of all, they care about women's sports, which is incredibly important to me. And now getting to play in Indianapolis and them being based here, it feels like a pretty natural partnership. On our jerseys, we wear the lily patch, so I feel pretty lucky and fortunate to be able to work with them. Maya Moore was definitely my favorite basketball player growing up, male or female. Getting to meet her and watch her play in a game for the first time is...
Before the criticism, before every move she made turned into viral content for millions of strangers to dissect and judge. And the timing? That's what makes it hit even harder. This comes right after one of the roughest rookie seasons any rising superstars had to push through. She got hit with plays so physical, they'd have been called flagrant in any other era. She got blamed for too much attention, like it was her fault the league was finally getting eyes on it. Then the noise got louder. Critics calling her out for not being outspoken enough on social issues, while others told her to just stick to basketball. How do you win when every side wants a different version of you? The mental strength it takes just to survive that kind of storm is unreal. And through all of that, people still keep demanding more. More posts, more access, more emotion, more everything. She's out here trying to breathe, trying to find balance while the world's shouting at her to stay online and perform. It's wild. Everyone's craving a piece of her, but this interview finally shows she's human, not just a highlight reel or a headline. Here's what this interview really exposes. Caitlin's already given everything she has, every ounce of energy, emotion, and focus. She's poured herself out for the game, for the fans, for the league, and what did she get in return? A rookie season so rough, it drove her to call her mom, begging for a home-cooked meal just to feel human again. The real question isn't whether Caitlin needs to do more. It's whether everyone else has already taken too much. Let's break this down, because what's happening here is way bigger than just basketball. Caitlin Clark is facing a kind of spotlight no player has ever had to handle, not at this scale. Sure, LeBron dealt with pressure, no doubt, but his world was different. He didn't grow up under this 24/7 nonstop social media storm. He didn't have millions of people breaking down every facial expression, every missed shot, every word in real time. And here's the kicker, LeBron didn't have to carry the weight of representation.
When Maya Moore did come and watch me at Iowa, it was a surprise. She was sitting courtside, and just to have somebody you grew up wanting to be like, take time out of their day to come and support you. And she was inducted to the Women's Basketball Hall of Fame. And like the way she talked about like team culture and how much that meant to her, and being a team player and how impactful that can be on your life is so true. And being on teams that have been really good, like, how true that is and how much that meant to her. And throughout the course of her career, like, it's just an easy.
Caitlin's not just playing basketball. She's carrying the future of women's basketball on her back. She's the proof people keep demanding. The symbol that women's sports deserve equal love, equal airtime, equal respect. She's expected to be everything all at once. The superstar athlete, the face of the league, the motivator for every young girl chasing a dream. At the same time, she's the one holding up the business side, the one selling tickets, moving merch, keeping the engagement numbers high for sponsors. She's the influencer, the brand rep, the public figure who's supposed to say the perfect thing about every social issue. And after all that, she's still expected to smile, lace up, and just play basketball like it's easy. It's wild. She's not just carrying a ball, she's carrying an entire movement on her shoulders, and people still wonder why she looks exhausted. The double standards around Caitlin are straight up wild. She's expected to be grateful for all the attention, but then dragged for supposedly bringing too much of it. She's told to speak up for women's sports, but also to stay quiet and humble so she doesn't make it about herself. She's expected to stay connected with fans nonstop, but also keep strict boundaries for her own mental health. It's impossible. And when she brings up cooking as her escape, that's not about recipes. That's about control. When everything in your life is run by agents, teams, sponsors, and media obligations, cooking becomes your one private world. You pick the ingredients, set the timing, create something that's yours. No judgment, no pressure, no cameras. It's her way of taking back power in a life where everyone else seems to be calling the shots. But here's where things start to get really interesting. This could define everything about her second season. Caitlin's clearly trying to hit reset, to find her way back to the version of herself that felt free and confident, back to that Iowa energy, even if only metaphorically. But can she actually do it? Can you ever go back to being the hometown hero once you've become a national icon? Can you rebuild that sense of community and joy when you're the centerpiece of a franchise still trying to figure out how to build around you? All eyes are on the Fever's off-season moves now, because that's going to reveal everything. Are they finally going to let Caitlyn just be Caitlyn again? Will they design a system that lets her shine, that highlights her passing, her creativity, her insane court vision? Will they bring in teammates who know how to play with a generational talent instead of boxing her in? Or are they going to keep pushing her into a mold that doesn't fit, trying to turn her into something she's not? The answer to that could make or break her comeback season. Keep bulking her up, keep pulling her off the ball, keep forcing her into systems that kill her natural rhythm. That's what the Fever's been doing. But here's what this interview makes crystal clear. Caitlyn knows exactly who she is. She knows what makes her great, what fuels her confidence, and what she needs to truly shine. The real question now, will the organization actually listen? Because if they don't, if they keep molding her into their version instead of building around her strengths, we could be witnessing the slow suffocation of one of the most electrifying players the game has ever seen. And that's not exaggeration, that's reality. That's what happens when a generational talent gets boxed in by the system. When you take someone who's redefining the game and try to cram them back into the same old playbook, you drain everything that made them special in the first place. Now here's the part that'll hit you. Go back and watch her expressions when she talks about Iowa compared to when she talks about Indianapolis. It's like watching two different people. When she talks about Iowa, her face just lights up. There's a glow, a spark. Her voice is alive, filled with excitement and warmth. She remembers the cancer survivors, the team culture, the sense of purpose, the moments when basketball meant something deeper than stats. That's someone remembering the love in the game. Then comes the Indianapolis side, and everything changes. She's calm, composed, professional, almost too careful. She talks about brand partnerships, sold-out arenas, and kids wearing her jersey, all the things that should sound like success. But when you really listen, her tone tells a different story. It's gratitude, but with weight behind it, like someone trying to sound thankful because they're expected to be. And that right there, that's the silent trap nobody's talking about. When passion turns into obligation, when the game stops being joy and starts feeling like a job, that's when even the brightest stars start to dim. Caitlyn's fighting hard not to lose herself. But how long can she hold on if the system won't let her breathe? Caitlyn Clark reached every dream she ever chased. She made it to the WNBA, became a certified star, stacked major endorsement deals, and inspired an entire generation to believe bigger. On paper, she should be living her best life, on top of the world. But somewhere between Iowa and Indianapolis, between college and the pros, between being just Caitlyn and becoming Caitlyn Clark, she lost something real and raw: her joy. And here's the thing, you can't fake joy. You can't post it, you can't buy it, and you sure can't force it to appear when you're drained. Real joy comes from feeling safe enough to be yourself. It grows when you're in spaces that value who you are, not just what you can do. It comes from having people around who see you as a person, not a brand, not a paycheck, not a storyline. So when she called her mom, asking for that home-cooked meal, it wasn't about comfort food. It was about comfort, period. It was her reaching for something familiar, something that reminded her of who she really is when the cameras stop rolling and the noise dies down. That moment wasn't weakness. It was her fighting to reconnect with herself. And now, everything about Caitlyn's future, whether she rises to GOAT status or becomes another heartbreaking example of how pressure can crush potential, comes down to one simple thing: boundaries. Can she protect her peace while still staying open to her fans? Can she share pieces of her world without giving every last bit of herself away? Can she keep representing women's basketball without feeling like she has to carry the entire sport on her shoulders? Because right now, she's trying to be everything: the star, the symbol, the savior, all at once. And no one, not even Caitlyn Clark, can do that forever. You can't be everything at once: the perfect role model, the down-to-earth girl next door, the fiery competitor, the gracious loser, the humble winner, the social media star, and the private person. Something's gotta give. And what this interview shows is that Caitlyn's finally starting to realize what that something is. She's learning to draw the line, to protect her energy, and to focus on what really matters: family, real relationships, and finding purpose that goes deeper than just basketball. But here's the tough part: the world doesn't want her to have those boundaries. Fans want her online 24/7, sharing everything. The media wants non-stop quotes and clips. Sponsors crave constant visibility. The league needs her face on every campaign. And the second she takes a breath, just one step back, the backlash starts. She's not grateful enough. She's not engaging enough. She's changed. It's relentless. That's the impossible trap she's caught in. If she gives too much, she burns out. If she protects her peace, people say she's distant or losing her edge. It's a no-win situation. Damned if she does, damned if she doesn't. And through all that noise, she's just trying to stay true to herself, to the player and the person she used to be before the world put her under a microscope. Now let's connect the dots, because this is where it all comes together. Remember when she talked about Lisa Luter bringing in cancer survivors to speak to the team? About how those stories gave the players perspective and reminded them why the game mattered? That moment wasn't just nostalgia. That was Caitlin telling us exactly what she's missing now. She's missing that perspective. She's missing that constant grounding force that kept her humble and connected at Iowa. Back then, she had a coach who made sure the team understood that basketball wasn't just about numbers or fame. It was about people, about impact, about being part of something real. And now, in the pros, surrounded by business, cameras, and pressure, she's trying to find that same feeling again. That reminder that the game used to mean more. Back in Iowa, Caitlin had fans who'd been riding for that program for decades. People who showed up before the spotlight, before the hype, before the merch drops. She had a system that valued her for who she was, not just what she could become. But in Indianapolis, that same foundation isn't there yet. The Fever is still learning, still building, still figuring out how to handle a once-in-a-generation talent like her. Everything there feels a little too transactional, and it's not because anyone's doing something wrong. It's just the reality of a young franchise trying to grow around a superstar. But that also means Caitlin's out here trying to create meaning and connection in a space that doesn't naturally give it to her. And that's exhausting. That's why she needs those quiet moments with her mom, asking her to fly out and cook something familiar. That's why she does these interviews, reaching back to her roots. That's why she keeps mentioning Iowa, Lisa Luter, and Maya Moore. Not because she's stuck in the past, but because she's pulling strength from it. She's using those lessons to survive right now and to shape what comes next. And here's the thing you need to pay attention to. What happens next doesn't just affect Caitlin Clark. It's bigger than that. This is about every young athlete trying to navigate the madness of fame in a social media world that never shuts off. Every rookie trying to stay grounded while the internet picks apart their every move. Soon, Caitlin's going to face a choice. Does she keep trying to be everything for everyone, or does she finally take control and decide who she really wants to be? Because if she figures that out, she won't just change her own story, she could change the way the next generation handles fame forever. If you're feeling this breakdown and want to see how Caitlin's story unfolds, make sure you like, subscribe, share, and drop a comment below. Let's keep this conversation going.